Oh yeah. It came in the mail. I'm so happy. I actually had to custom make this because they didn't have them released yet, but
got myself a Von Biller jersey, baby.
I had a lot of people trying to ask me like, oh, how do you know he's actually going to be number 40? What if he goes to number 58? What if you screwed it up? I mean, Von posted this on his Instagram, so I mean, I feel like I'm good. I agree. LFG, Von. Anyway, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Happy Friday. Today's video, I'm going to be giving my Madden ratings out to the NFL wide receivers. I do want to point out that this is going to go quick. Well, the video might not, but how I do it is going to go very, very quick because there is a lot of receivers. I had to find a new list because the one I use versus the world is good, but it leaves out a lot of names. One quick thing before we head into the video, hop over to gfuel.com, use code WyattzWorld, save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products. All right, and let's get into the wide receivers. Alright, so here we are at the infamous tier list. I did structure it a little bit differently. At the bottom, I got 3 guys that I just said I don't know and I don't care because I don't know who 2 of them are, to be dead honest with you. And Henry Ruggs, there's no point in talking about him because he's never going to play again. Then above that, we've got 79 and under because I don't really think there is a receiver that's under a 70 overall. Receivers are a little bit different with how they function. I think there's a lot more higher rated ones than any position because there is so many of them, obviously. So above 79 and under, we've got 80 through 89. Above that, we've got 90 through 95. And then we've actually got a diamond category of itself, which is 96 and above. Pretty straightforward, right? And another reason I want to do this fast and fluently is because the new Kirby came out today and I really want to play it. Anyway, starting off, we've got Devontae Adams. Think he got a 99 last year, and I haven't done too much thinking into who all could be a 99, but I'm not gonna lie, not to kiss the Packers' ass too much, or former Packers' ass. I think, much like Rodgers, he is gonna get it in back-to-back years, and he deserves it. I do think he is the best receiver in football. Moving on, we've got Nelson Agholor, 73. He doesn't play a ton. When he does, he's very hit or miss as well. He's kind of like MVS. Moving on, we've got Brandon Ayuk, 81. Deserves to be in the 80s. He's consistently doing good, just not doing a lot yet. Moving on, we've got AJ Brown, 87. He had a slow year because he got hurt. We all know he's better than that. But I'm a guy who judges you off of your last year's performance. Now, previous years can come into account. That's why he's still as high as an 87. And it's a good rating, but he missed a lot of time. Moving on, we've got Keenan Allen, 92. Elite receiver, he has been consistent, and I think in the games he's been a consistent 90, so he should at least at bare minimum still be there. On to Robbie Anderson, 84. Had a huge slouch this year. It wasn't all his fault at all. He had a terrible quarterback, but DJ Moore found a way to be great still. On to St. Brown, I hope I'm going to call this guy St. Brown. 83 overall. 5 touchdowns, almost had 1,000 yards in Detroit. Moving on, we've got the Bees. I'm going to miss you, man. 81. Very, very solid, reliable veteran. Up next, we've got Tyler Boyd, 86. Oh, fuck, I messed this up so bad. Okay, AJ Brown was an 87. Keenan was a 91, I think, or 92. Should be back to par now. Anyway, Tyler Boyd, 86. Good receiver. He's one of those guys that will do as much as you allow him to do. Moving on, we've got Antonio Brown. Deep down, he's better than this, but I would probably give him like an 85. He's hurt a lot, and he's stormed off the goddamn field, okay? Moving on, we've got Calvin Ridley. He is real. You know what? I think we're going to keep our mouths shut about him, too, right now. Barely played last year. He ain't playing this year. As far as I'm concerned, I like the guy, but right now, he is irrelevant. Up next, we've got CeeDee Lamb. I think he is a well-deserved 92. Insanely fast, insanely talented receiver who's going to get a lot more attention now that Amari Cooper is gone. Up next, we've got DJ Chark, one of the most overhated receivers in the league. 79. He's not ass, but didn't play really. Up next, we've got Jamar Chase. This one scares me. I don't know what Jefferson got. I don't think they even gave him a 90 last year, and it was really fucking dumb that they didn't. He's only played for 1 year. He was terrific, though. I will be honest, this could be ridiculous of me to say. I'd give him a 93, though. I think he's going to be an absolute machine. Moving on, we got Chase Claypool. He took a step down. At least his touchdowns did. I don't think his yardage was that good either. Big physical guy, 84. Up next, we've got Brandon Cooks. Madden will never do this, but I'll give him the respect. A flat 90. He is an elite receiver. Moving on, we've got Amari Cooper. He kind of took a step down this year. Still had quite a few touchdowns, though, I think. 88. Cowboy fans can't get mad at me now, though. I got to deal with Cleveland. Moving on, we've got Corey Davis. Oh, what the fuck? I want to say he started off, like, really good. Either that, maybe it was just fantasy, honestly. 83? Up next, we've got Jamison Crowder, a Buffalo Bill now. I think he's going to be really good for us this year, but 82. I just looked at his stats the other day when we signed him. He had under 500 yards and like 2 touchdowns. Moving on to Curtis Samuel. No disrespect here at all. He barely played last year because he got hurt. He was starting to cook in Carolina, but that was the end of it. Still think he could be good, but 78. Moving on, we got my boy Gabe Davis. 600 yards and 7 touchdowns, I think, in both of his years. His playoff performance was great. He's definitely a B player at this point. 82? That's fair. Up next, we've got Deebo Samuel, 96. He will be up there. He definitely deserves to be up there. Guy did everything for that team this year. Borderline an MVP if you really break it down. Moving on, we got Stephon Diggs. Wow, we've had just so many Bills recently. 97. Yeah, he is going to get that, and he deserves it. 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns coming off the year. He had a career high of 1,500 yards and I think 10 or 12 touchdowns. Same player. Moving on, we've got Deontay Johnson, 90. Very talented receiver. Yes, he sometimes still has ball security issue, but by far the best on that team, and he showed his talents last year. Up next, we've got DJ Moore, 91. Consistent 1,200 yard seasons, 4 or 5 touchdowns. Moving on, we've got DK Metcalf. Bias, probably, don't care, still think he's like a 93. Only reason he fell back is because he lost Russ last year, and I think he still had double-digit touchdowns. He's a fucking animal. Up next, we got Big Mike Evans. 96. Sky is still the limit with him. Moving on, we've got Will Fuller, irrelevant this year, barely played at all if he did even play on the Dolphins. Usually very good, injury prone, but he is good. I'll still give him an 84. Up next, we've got Michael Gallup. He missed a lot of time this year too. I do think he is very serviceable though. 83. Moving on, we got Chris Godwin, 91. Give him some damn credit. Watch what the fuck he does now that AB's not there. He's gonna get more attention. Moving on, we've got Kenny Golladay. As much as I like the guy and want him to be good, he hasn't done a goddamn thing in 2 seasons. 78. Potential, all the potential, but I haven't seen him play in forever. Moving on, we got McCole Hardman. I'll give him an 80. Moving on, we've got T. Higgins, 87. One of 3 elite receivers on that team, basically. It's only about how much attention Joe Burrow really gives him, but I think we all know he's very good. Moving on, we've got Tyreek Hill, 96. Fast, explosive, extremely talented. The real question is, how good is he going to be without Mahomes? Up next, we've got Eugene T.Y. Hilton, 76. He hasn't done shit in forever. Moving on, we've got DeAndre Hopkins, 93. Still one of the better ones in the league, but he was injured. He missed a lot of time. Up next, we've got Justin Jefferson. He will be a 97 as well. Both of my favorite teams, and I don't think you can argue either one. One of the most productive wide receivers out there, one of the most talented wide receivers out there. Him and Jamar Chase is going to be a fun war to watch. Moving on, we got Scary Jerry Jeudy, who wasn't so scary at all. He will be, but last year, 400 yards, 0 touchdowns, 79. He is going to be very good. Up next, we've got Juju. He missed basically all of last year, too. And the year before, he still wasn't as good, but he scored a lot for him still. I think he can get separation. He's good at that. It's just not downfield, or at least for Ben it wasn't. 83. Up next, we got Julio. This breaks my heart. 84, simply because he's Julio Jones. I'll give him that. Up next, we've got Cooper Kupp, 98. He's not as good as Devontae Adams, but he had an elite fucking year. Almost 2,000 yards. How many goddamn touchdowns? I want to say 18. Beast. On to Jarvis Landry, 85. I honestly do think that he brings like really good leadership onto the field though. Moving on, Tyler Lockett. I did it for Chris Godwin, so I'll do it for Lockett. I don't know what I gave Chris, honestly, I kind of forgot. 91 to Lockett. He is very much a top 20 receiver, and in Madden, it's looking like more than 20 might be above 90 when this is all said and done. Moving on, we got Hollywood, 88. Kind of gave him a hard time. He's not as terrible. He did pretty good this year. I think he's only as good right now as his quarterback is, and Lamar, like him, inconsistent. But legitimately, he's only gotten better every year. Moving on, I think this is Terrence Marshall Jr. I like him. I think he's a big physical guy. I think he's going to be good. Right now, 78. Moving on, we got Marvin Jones. He's been the same guy his whole career as far as I'm concerned. Might be over generous here. 85. Moving on, we got Scary Terry. 89. I thought about that one already. Consistent, great. To be fair, he hasn't had a real quarterback. Right now, I think he's going to. But it doesn't matter who you throw out there. He's still the same guy. He's kind of like Brandon Cooks. He just hasn't been around as long. Moving on, we've got Darnell Mooney. Just talked about him the other day. Very young yet, and it was his best season. 84. Up next, we've got Odell. Should have never been out of the 90s, and he probably still won't be back in the 90s because he got hurt. But he changed so much on that team. Prove that he's still the same guy. I'm going to give him a 93. Moving on, we've got Devontae Parker, 81. He just continues to be really underwhelming. On to Michael Pittman. He should be an 85. Getting better. He just never, ever has a consistent quarterback. It's unfair. Moving on, we've got Jalen Reagor, the only guy who could be under a 70, I guess. I'll give him a 72. He's fucking terrible. Up next, we've got Allen Robinson. Oh, God. 85. I'm going to play it safe with him. Still think he's great, but last year was a huge fall down. Moving on, we've got Laviska Shenault. What did he do last year? I don't have any memory of him. 600 yards and 0 touchdowns. I don't fucking know, man. 82. Moving on, we've got Devontae Smith. Very, very underrated rookie season because Jamar overshadowed him. Now, his numbers weren't even close to him, but he still did well. 86. Moving on, we got Cortland Sutton. Expect big things out of him, but last year also kind of a dud. He did a little bit better than Jerry, though. 82. Up next, we've got Adam Thielen. 87. Still a touchdown machine. I think he'll be productive. He's just getting older and he's getting hurt. One of the best sets of hands in football, one of the hardest working receivers in football. Up next, we've got Michael Thomas, the one guy I give the benefit of the doubt of for missing an entire season, because if you just go back and look, as much as I hate him, he has been so good. He's a douche, though. 92 still. Moving on, we've got Jalen Waddle, right in the same boat as Devontae Smith. Very underrated, great rookie season, just overshadowed by the animal. Not gonna lie, I do think he was a little bit more impressive than Devontae Smith, though. I would probably give Jalen Waddle an 87 if I gave him an 86. Really getting down there now. We've got 2 left. Mike Williams, he should be an 89. Borderline 90, nothing wrong with him at all. I just think he serves as more of a deep threat than a reliable, getting open in the midfield kind of guy. And last but not least, Robert Woods, who unfortunately missed an entire year. I think he's going to be great in Tennessee. He wanted to go to Tennessee. He's been underrated the way it is. I will say he is a 87. Alright guys, and that is all for me giving my Madden ratings out to the NFL wide receivers. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you guys did, you know what to do. Comment, like, subscribe, turn that bell on. I do my best to post every single day. I do not think I will be on Twitch at all this weekend. I apologize for that. Skits should still be rolling out in some capacity though. With everything I just said, I hope you all have a great one. I'm gonna hop off, get this shit edited so you guys can watch it on time. Enjoy your weekend, stay safe, I'll see you in the next video.